It's Christmas time, you're wrapping a bunch of presents and the paper roll falls off the table. Now you got to pick it up, re-roll it, not crease it. That's where these 3D prints come in. They actually hold the roll to the end of the table. I'll explain it all on today's Filament Friday. This video is sponsored by PCB Way. I did find a couple of options online that you could 3D print, but after testing these things and them breaking, I decided to just design my own. Before I explain it all, remember PCBWay.com has a great Christmas sale going on for electronic circuit boards and also 3D prints such as clear 3D prints. And if you're into circuit boards, I highly recommend get their 10 pieces for $5 deal. I use it all the time. In fact, I just uploaded my Gerber files for my CHEP module, and then I ordered 10 boards. I selected red solder mask and white silk screen, and I got a quote, $5 plus $22 shipping. I'm happy with the results. So if you are into electronics or 3D printing, I highly suggest you check out the deals at PCBWay.com. Now here's the first one I found, and this looked really cool, and it had a spring-loaded clamp, so I wanted to see how well this worked. I printed these on a Prusa Core 1 with a 15% infill at a 0.2 layer height, and I used some Prusa PETG, and I was happy with the results. They looked really good until I tried to install them. Both of them broke. The 15% was too weak, so I decided to go back and print it again at 50%. So here's the 50% infill version, and I wanted to try one first before I printed any more. And it didn't work. So I gave up on this idea and I went looking for a C-clamp version. I found this one on printables. It looked simple, it looked good, so I figured I'd try it. I printed a couple and then I realized I should have used supports in certain spots of this print. I printed it like this flat, but didn't even think that that groove that guides the plate with the screw was going to sag like this. So that was my mistake. I found the threads were too tight, the hole wasn't rightly sized, and the bolt broke right away. So I gave up on that. Then I remembered this clamp that I did a video on 9 years ago where I modified it for my workshop. It was on Thingiverse by user Johan. So July 4th, 2016, he released it. And this came out really good. It was easy to print. This is a great print for 9 years ago. And I used it on my table saw to clamp things. I also modified it to fit my workbench like a bench dog. And I did a few other things with it. I found a remix of it on printables with better threads is what they claim. So I figured I'd try this and I'm going to modify it in Tinkercad. I made a right and a left and I imported the clamp into Tinkercad. And then from there, I just used a block element and then stretched it out and made it flat. Then I used a tube element that I made into a hole and actually cut it in half. That way I could use it to round the top of the flat piece. Then I used a cylinder to actually hold the tube of the wrapping paper. I grouped it all together and I had the one side of my wrapping paper holder. Then I just made a duplicate and I used the mirror tool to flip it the other direction. And this worked out great until I realized that I also reversed the threads. So when I actually printed this, the screw wouldn't go into it, so I had to fix that. And then I realized they offer a bigger size clamp, so I actually made two sets, one for thinner tables and one for thicker tables. I sliced it in Prusa Slicer, and after learning what I learned on the previous two, I printed these at 0.28 layer height, but at 50% infill, and I did the same thing for the screws. So this hopefully works. So here I am going to mount it on the bench, and boy, this is feeling really good, nice and solid. And this is the moment that I realized I reversed the threads so the screw wouldn't go in. And this was frustrating because these prints came out really good. So I had to go back to Tinkercad. And then what I had to do was ungroup it, get the clamp separate from the bracket that I made, and then unmirror it. And now I got two going the same direction. But then what I did is just grab the circular tool and flipped it 180 degrees, which is what I should have done in the first place. You know, I thought I was being clever. Well, I wasn't clever at all. So I had to do it for this one, and I also had to do it for the longer one. So I did the same thing there, unmirrored it, flipped it, got everything right, and then grouped it back together. And when I was done, then I had the proper clamps. At least I thought I did. So then I printed them out. And this time I just printed the clamps because I already had the screws. And so I printed the clamps and everything was looking good, but here's the moment of truth. Does it work? Yes, I got it fixed. So then I put the cap on the end of the screw and this thing was ready to use. And now I'm getting excited because I think these are going to be really, really useful. I put a clamp on one side, tightened it down, and then I used a wrapping paper tube to space it. So I put it on one side, and then I made sure the clamp went into the wrapping paper tube, and then clamped the other clamp. And this looked like it was going to hold it pretty good, but it could spin easily. But once I got these tight, I was ready to try this thing out. And now I can just pull it to the side. It all stays in place. I don't have to worry about it falling off the edge. You can put the present you're going to get, the gift here in place, and then use your scissors or cutter, whatever you want, and then cut the paper to the size you need, and the paper holder will hold it in place. I also don't have to worry about that thing rolling into the scissors, and I got to push it, and then it ends up buckling. I mean, it buckles enough as it is. So maybe I should add some fingers to it to hold the paper tight. That may be for a future improvement, but overall, I love the way this worked. I could just wrap the gift, flip it over, put the paper in place, and then when I'm done, I can just grab the paper and roll it up and even probably put a rubber band or clip around it. This is so handy. I love it. Now, this is not an original idea. Obviously, there's things out there like this, the Wrap Buddies. They want $25 for it, although it's on sale for $22. I printed mine for a heck of a lot less than that. Now, theirs does have a tape dispenser in it, which I like. That may be something I have to figure out how to add to mine. But those look like really beefy clamps, but I kind of like my C-clamp design better. And I don't know how much those spread because it's a pretty thin table that it's showing. So I kind of like the C-clamp where I can go different sizes and then print whatever I want in whatever color I want. Now, I also found a professional mount, which is $118, but there's some smaller ones above, as you can see. But what I don't like about these is like they're a fixed width. Now, I know wrapping paper is like the same size, so I'm sure this would work. But the fact that I can use just my clamps in whatever length I want, I can use any size tube that's out there, or even if I have a partial tube, say I cut one in half and want to just use half, or I want to use it with wrapping paper for shipping packages or something like that. My clamps can work with that as well. There's really no limit to what these can do, and the fact that I could print them on my printer, and if it breaks, easily print another one, I kind of like what I'm doing here. A lot better than buying something. So even though I didn't have success with the other designs like this one here, which was really kind of cool, I blame that on me. I probably didn't print it in the right material or in the right way. I could have done better with this. So I'll take blame for this. And I'll also take blame for not using supports where I should have on this design. But the thing that still bugs me about this one is the real fine pitch threads and that the hole was too tight. Again, maybe I didn't print at the right settings, but that's what I love about the clamp that I used is those threads are loose enough to easily go in and adjust, but tight enough to hold it to the table perfectly fine. And this is why many times I just grab something and modify it in Tinkercad to make it work the way I want. Then I get what I want, when I want it, the way I want it. So maybe it's just me. Plus, it's fun to design your own stuff and print it. You have an idea, you design it, and it comes out on a printer, and then you can actually use it. This is a perfect use case. I know others in my family are going to want it once they see it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the support. Thanks for watching. And here's a few other videos you might like. If you want to help support the channel, Patreon's the best way to do it. And if nothing else, click on that logo and subscribe. I'll see you next time right here at Chuck Hellebuck's Electronic Products and Filament Friday.